The Buzz Suite, a safe haven for the Buzz podcast, a collection of misfits who deliver sports news week by week by week. Yet with the growth of the brand grew the egos of the stars themselves, with one in particular almost ending the Buzz as we knew it.
The best way, I think, to describe JJ's personality is rough. He had a rough personality. He was tough to get along with.
JJ, or Jean-Louis, or whatever he'd like to call himself, was a polarizing figure on set, one that drew the ire of his fellow podcast mates.
I walk into the radio room. JJ's sitting there, just feet up on the desk, looking like a pompous, just son of a you-know-what. And I walk over, and the first thing he just says to me is, Kawhi Leonard is not a clutch performer. And I just look at him, and I'm like, you're crazy. And he's like, no, he's washed, not even a top 3 player. And that's when I knew something was wrong. Obviously, something must have been wrong with his head. He was just arrogant. His head was just all over the place. And really, maybe a little something going on. I'm not sure at this point.
Suspicions of his impairment were soon confirmed in the most obscene ways imaginable.
He would come in drunk. He would bring a flask onto the show and actually drink on camera. And we'd look at him and we'd try to stop him, but I don't know. He had this look in his eye like, he was a man possessed. He wanted to prove his point, and he did.
The tension between JJ and the rest of the podcast was bound to boil over, and it culminated in an event that would change the fate of the Buzz podcast forever.
There was one moment with Jamie. It was a Kawhi thing. It really just touched me the wrong way. And then going forward, he started showing up late, wouldn't come, said he was there when we're all there. And one day, we walked in on him, drinking underneath the table, all by himself. And that's when we just all looked at each other and said, intervention. Intervention. And then the fight escalated.
Foi horrível ver os dois tretando, brigando daquele jeito. Eu acho que foi uma coisa que foi até bom, porque depois ele nem continuou no programa. Eu acho que foi melhor para todo mundo até. Eu até tava torcendo pro Mike dar umas porradas na cara dele, cara. Acho que foi melhor para todo mundo depois do que aconteceu aqui.
As the dust settled, the members of the podcast looked for a new start, and with everyone's favorite mustache, they found it.
They started doing their podcast a little bit into the year, and then a few months, maybe in March or February, I was approached by Peter Gumas, explaining to me all the issues they were having with JJ. Never really was outspoken about taking his position because I knew I didn't want to cause any issues with him. I could only imagine what he would have acted like. But nonetheless, Peter was extremely concerned, not only for JJ, but for the podcast in general. So I agreed to help them out. And JJ was just not happy about it.
Off the heels of their encounter, the drunken tryhard was replaced with everyone's favorite graduate assistant, much to the delight of the podcast.
You know what? It's been great since Anthony has come on. I don't want to say we're in a honeymoon period because I think we're past that point.
Nossa, o Tony é demais.
You could see I can't stop smiling. As soon as when Tony came, it was just as if Jesus was coming back. That's what it felt like. I don't know what that feels like because it hasn't happened, but I'm assuming it's the same feeling.
He's professional. He's prepared. He just leads us to the promised land every episode as our host. And truly, I have never been happier to be rid of someone and to have gained someone in my life until this happened, losing JJ, gaining Anthony. It was just an absolute blessing.
Every group faces hardship, but some grow stronger out of it. With these Buzz brothers, their bond is now stronger than ever. In Fairfield, I'm Chad Thompson.
Well, it's Anthony, a.k.a. Tony.
Or T. If you
Or
want to call him
T.
T, you can just call him T.
T-Money.
Anyway, guys, a very
Nobody calls him
eventful maybe not.